So far, Nintendo Switch 2 talk has been all leakers, commentators, and YouTubers. But now, that all changes for good. Enter President of Nintendo of America, Doug Bowser, now talking about Nintendo Switch 2. We'll dive into what he has to say about the upcoming system and how that changes our expectations for what's to come. Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. We've got one heck of a show for you to kick things off right here. Big news right off the bat, and that's how we love it. I'm Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you're all doing fantastic. Let's dive right into what we got going on for Nintendo. Doug Bowser is ready to talk, and yeah, this is eye-opening, and I'm gonna give you the lowdown, all the details, and probably more than what you're getting from summaries elsewhere. Let's start off though with what we have going on for Nintendo Switch current model. It looks like over in Europe, they're adding a FIFA 23 game trial. That is going to be the next free game that you can download and give a spin. Probably will get something different in America, but we may end up getting the same game as well. A lot of times lately, they have mixed it up, but UK, you can try out FIFA 23 Legacy Edition from March 20th to March 26th. Now, we couldn't have a completely perfect episode of Good Morning Mario where everything is glorious for Nintendo. Like, they always has to have one story just a little bit dark, and today's is definitely dark because the Pokemon Company is hiring somebody who is into NFTs. They're hiring a blockchain NFT Web3 technologies person. If you're not catching my drift, this is terrible. The idea of Pokemon incorporating NFT technology and blockchain is really ugly. The good idea would be for Nintendo to stay completely away from all of this in every sense of the word because it always ends poorly. These things' value is basically make-believe. And I really feel like game companies, despite their efforts to invest in and explore all different new technologies, need to stay away from NFTs and blockchain. I just think this is a colossal area where, oops, you're going to regret it. You're going to regret it for your fans. You may make some money off the top, but in the long run, it's going to hurt you. Now, this is no guarantee that the Pokemon Company, Game Freak, or Nintendo are actually going to develop NFT Pokemon stuff. It just means that they're interested in it. That's worrisome, and typically don't pay someone to be just interested. You pay someone to be invested, and you pay someone to create and develop. But maybe this is just them that they are wanting to explore. They're wanting to be up to date. Everyone always criticizes the Nintendo studios for not being modern enough. They do want this deep knowledge of Web3, including blockchain and NFT, metaverse technologies. Maybe one of us should apply and say we do, and then tell them it's a terrible idea. That actually might be a super smart plan, and then we can just cut this off at the head. NFTs are like hydras. You think that you can stop it, but you can't. It just keeps appearing and keeps ruining your day. So Pokemon Company, please hire me. I'll tell you that it's the wrong move. But yeah, let's not do Pokemon NFTs. No. And now, Doug Bowser enters the ring, and he's talking about stuff that normally Nintendo does not like to address. This got posted on the Associated Press just a few hours ago, and it's a big deal because this isn't just like Nintendo like blanket statementing. This isn't Furukawa. This is like the president of Nintendo of America coming out and talking about what's been talked about, right? That doesn't happen very often where the conversation we're having gets addressed by head honcho. And first he's talking about $70 prices, which I think you'll find interesting. Because he was asked, how did you guys get to a $70 price point for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom? And he said that basically, you look at what the game has to offer, and he thinks that this is such a deeply immersive experience, fans will not be miffed by paying $70. He says the price point reflects the type of experience that fans can expect when it comes to playing this particular game. This isn't a price point that we'll necessarily have on all of our titles, but it's actually a fairly common pricing model either here or in Europe or other parts of the world. Okay, Doggy B, I don't like that last part, but the first thing, the price point reflects the type of experience that fans can expect. This game must be massive, and I feel like scope-wise it is going to be bigger than pretty much anything Nintendo has put on Switch. I'm not predicting like a Witcher-size open world here, but for Nintendo first party, I think Tears of the Kingdom is going to be about as big and hefty as you're going to get. If it is substantially larger and more encompassing than Breath of the Wild, well then yeah, you have a humongous game. I'm still not sure I buy Doug Bowser's thought here that we look at what a game has to offer, and then because this is so deeply immersive, boom, it's worth 70. I feel like this is Nintendo just testing the waters for what they can do when they have their Paramount IP, their biggest characters, and their most anticipated game ready to go. I feel like, yes, Zelda is going to be super fully fleshed out, super engaging experience, but they absolutely could have charged 60. This isn't saying like, oh my gosh, the game is so much bigger. It's just saying like, we know people will pay for this game. But if they are going to charge 70 and it is going to be jam-packed, and we're going to say that the last 6 years of development have gone to making it just as freaking huge as possible, then can we really complain? You tell me. I am okay at this point paying 70, especially because Nintendo has committed multiple times, including here again, that they ain't gonna charge 70 for everything. If they want to do it for their big guns, I mean, who's gonna stop them? All right, now the moment of truth is the big question. When is the next Switch coming out? When is Switch 2 coming out? And what kinds of features or new capabilities would you like to see from Nintendo Switch 2? This is a brain burner of a question because you're asking the dude who definitely signs off on this system when it's coming and what kind of features or capabilities would you like to see. It's interesting, and I want to set the stage here because when we talk the next Switch, we only talk about better graphics and better performance. We don't really talk about any other features or capabilities as we expect it to retain everything the Switch has. So pay particular attention to what Dougie B has to say about new features, new gimmicks really, new capabilities. He starts off by saying, as we enter the 7th year for Nintendo Switch, sales are still strong. Thanks for stating the obvious. I think we still have a very, very strong lineup coming. Let's break this down line by line. I think we still have a very, very strong lineup coming. On one hand, he could be referencing Pikmin 4 and Tears of the Kingdom. That alone is very strong. But I do wonder if we could read between the words here and make this out to be some sort of subtle nod towards backwards compatibility. He's asked about the next Switch coming out, and he says, I think we still have a very, very strong lineup coming for Switch. That could mean titles that are coming out in the next 6 months, but that also could mean that, hey, the lineup is going to be strong because you don't have to worry about it playing on one or the other, but both. That's just me kind of hypothesizing here. That's probably reading too much, but we'll continue. As Mr. Furukawa said recently, we're entering uncharted territory with the platform. It's exciting to see that demand is still there, so nothing to announce on any future console or device, but we are still feeling very bullish about Nintendo Switch. So he won't commit to a Switch Pro, a Switch 2, when it's coming out. They're not saying no comment, they are commenting, which I don't know if you read that as good or bad, because Nintendo has said no comment before, and that actually was the biggest comment. Nintendo has commented before, and that actually was completely a lie. I wouldn't read into that, but we still are feeling very bullish about Nintendo Switch. Again, I don't believe Nintendo plans to keep the current Switch around for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. I think this does indicate that it is going to be unified, which is what we expect, and I really think it's going to have backwards compatibility. I think it's kind of bonkers to suggest that they'll just abandon that entire audience. Here's where it gets cool though. I should be careful about what I personally would like to see in a new Switch. Well, duh, because you already know. But what I can share is that one of the reasons that even going into year 7, we feel very confident that the Switch can have a strong performance over the next few years is that it is still truly the unique device that you can play in a variety of ways, at home and on the go. He still feels very confident that Switch can be a strong performer over the next few years. Yes, it's multifaceted, but he's confident in this because of backwards compatibility. There's no way he's confident in this Switch having strong performance if they ditch and dive into the next thing. I'm telling you guys and girls, this is your biggest clue to backwards compatibility yet. More than what I have to say, what RGT has to say, what MVG has to say, what anybody has to say, this is your biggest clue. One of the things we look at always is how we can surprise and delight. How can we introduce new, unique ways of playing? That's always in front of our mind. And there is his secret drop. There is his huge final statement. He obviously can't say what's in Nintendo Switch 2. He can't even tell us when it's coming. Those plans are for a different day. But he's addressing it and he's giving us a nugget of knowledge. He's giving us the breadcrumb trail that we need to take ourselves and figure out where it's to go. He says, one of the things we look at is how we can surprise and delight. Do you think of a performance boost as surprising? It sure delights, but I don't know if it surprises. You could argue that maybe seeing Nintendo games in 4K does surprise and delight, but then I carry you to his next sentence. How can we introduce new, unique ways of playing? That's always in front of our mind. New, unique ways of playing. Because better graphics is not a new, unique way of play. Okay? Improved performance, FPS gains is not a new, unique way of play. That is an improved way of an already existing way of play. What are they actually planning with the new system? Something we haven't considered is that they might be embarking on a new style of gaming and technology. We know Nintendo has been all about that the last couple of generations. They introduced motion control, they were big on the pad style gameplay with Wii U, they took that to the furthest destination possible by making Switch a hybrid system. What new unique way of play could they introduce? I'm starting to brainstorm and I'm thinking, okay, are you doing stuff with 2 screens? Are you doing stuff with AR, with VR? What are you going to add to change the way of play? Because he already mentions that the Switch is a device that plays at home and on the go. That's been cemented already. And I feel like given the comments, Nintendo Switch staying successful, like it's going to do that. But what is the new unique way of play? They've experimented a lot, right? They have done dual screen, they've done tiny consoles, they've done 3D straight out the 3DS screen. Holographic technology, something we can't possibly predict. Gyro is already in the Switch, so what new way of play? And how would this reshape the allure of a Switch 2? Because remember, the discussion a lot is like Switch Pro or Switch 2, just a beefier Switch or the next Switch. And to me, this sounds like Doug Bowser is indicating it's Switch 2 and not Switch Pro. Switch Pro is just a little stopgap, it is a beefing up, but Switch 2 introduces surprises, delights, and new unique ways of playing. I can't possibly guess exactly what he's referencing here. Only he and Furukawa and all the other high-end executives and designers know. But when he talks about the next system in this way, that's in the front of their mind, developing and making something new, it really makes you believe that Switch 2 is going to have some sort of game changer gimmick, some sort of new thing, new feature, new add-on that makes it more than just a beefy Switch. I really feel like what he's talking about here is a backwards compatible unit, but that introduces something fresh. And I gotta say, that's the most exciting world we could possibly fall into. One where the Switch 2 does play everything the Switch plays, but also one where the Switch 2 introduces a wild card. Nintendo has been hit or miss with wild cards in the past, but right now I feel like they're locked in. And if they've been developing a great idea for the last 7, 8, 9 years, if they're feeling like the technology is ready to tackle it, if they believe that a more strongly powered, better hardware Switch model can tackle whatever new way of play they have in mind, I think we're in for a treat. I'd say we're in for a surprise and a delight, if I would love to quote my good friend Doug Bowser here, but let me know what you think. What could be the new way of play that Doug Bowser is referencing here, and what does that change or shake up for your expectation of Switch 2? From just a stronger Switch to a whole new Switch. Tell me about it in the comments down below. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there, everybody. And until next time, I'll keep you posted with new information, but that's Doug Bowser on Switch 2. For now, though, thanks again. SwitchForce, out.